Now we have a big question to ask. Is Asia's long search for strong economic growth finally over? The Asian Development Bank says Asia is set to see strong economic growth this year thanks to a surge in consumption, rising tourism and massive investment inflow. Many Asian economies are set to be on a high growth trajectory after China scrapped its strict COVID curbs. Economies in Asia and Pacific are expected to grow by 4.8% in 2023-24. ADB says that end of China's zero-COVID policy is the main factor behind the numbers. It adds that China's economy is set to grow by 5% this year. And it's not just China. Southeast Asian countries like Philippines and Vietnam are also expected to deliver solid growth. This is driven mainly by tourism and robust domestic demand. ADB has warned, however, that the outlook faces risks that must be carefully monitored and proactively addressed. Topping this list of concerns is continuation of the Russia-Ukraine war, besides rising interest rates and high levels of debt. For more on this, Mark Brolin is joining us live. He's an economist and author from London. Welcome to the broadcast, Mark. We are seeing a keen interest in economies in Asia and Pacific specifically. How do you think that this is the case? Why do you think this is the case? And how optimistic are you about the growth prospects?
Well, I'm quite optimistic. I think the big reason is, of course, that China is opening up again. There's been a pent-up demand that has been untapped for quite a bit. So that's a big thing. And energy costs going down is another big thing. And as you were mentioning before also, I think the tourist has been sort of underestimated in the world economy, because now many people are also from Europe and US are working from home and prefer to sit in Asia. So that has also that also makes an impact. But I think in general, I think this is good news for the world at large, and it's especially good for Asia, of course, and it sort of highlights how the world economy is sort of pivots, not from the US, because I think the US still is strong, but it pivots from Europe more towards Asia. So that, I think that's a big change, geopolitical or geo-economic change, that the Pacific is turning into the much more important zone gradually.
Now, the Asian Development Bank has also warned of risks amid this strong economic growth. What kind of risks are we looking at here?
Well, there are many. I mean, the immediate risks are the political ones. If we have the brewing tension between the US and China, for example, and of course we have in Europe, we have the Ukraine war, whatever can happen from that one. So we have the geopolitical risks that spills over into geo-economic risks. And then the inflation problem it's far from over. And then we have this debate about interventionism contra free markets. And I think that an interesting point to make there is that I think UK might be underestimated in Europe for the same reason that India is underestimated in Asia. I think everyone is talking about China always in Asia, but I think India is sort of the dark horse coming up. And over time, I think India could overtake China for several reasons.
All right, it will be interesting to see how the focus shifts from Europe to Asia and Pacific, as you just mentioned. Thank you for joining us, Mark Brolin from London.
Thank you.